Hey guys, today I'm doing this video because we want to cover the topic of whether it was worth your time and money to travel all the way to Hong Kong to go to SimCity to buy a Leica Q3. Now a Leica Q3 is not going to be cheap, right? The 43mm is costing almost $10,000 in Singapore, and the 28mm is $9,600 in Singapore. Now if you're going to be traveling to Hong Kong, yes, it's going to be cheaper, but what if it is fake? What if it is not original? And what if, worse still, it is not new, right? So, because you're going to be paying new price, but hear me out, right? Because the version of the 28mm in Hong Kong is going to cost you $6,800. The 43mm is going to cost you $8,000, both in Singapore currency, right? Now in Hong Kong dollars, it is 40,000 for the 28mm and 47,000 for the 43mm. You can be assured that these are original, brand new in-box sealed packaging. I actually was quite happy with the whole buying experience, especially Frankie from M&K Camera helping out now. Frankie has a YouTube channel of his own. I'll probably put the channel link somewhere here so you can take a look for yourself. But like I said, I want to cover whether is it worth our time. Now, noting the price of the camera in Singapore, let's talk about the 43mm for the majority of this video so it's easier to reference. In Singapore, it's $9,990. Let's call it $10,000, right? In Hong Kong, 47,000 Hong Kong dollars is equivalent of 8,000 Singapore dollars, right? I'm going to be doing Singapore dollars. If you are coming in from the United States or any other countries, you can do the currency conversion yourself, right? So the difference is about a 20% difference. Now there are a couple of cost components. I'm going to have to refer to my notes because I took down all the notes, but I definitely cannot remember everything all in. So there is the cost of traveling and there's the cost of accommodation. So let's cover the cost of traveling first. Of course, the biggest component will be the cost of the ticket. Now, if you find a good price for a ticket, economy class ticket on Singapore Airlines to go to Hong Kong, it will cost you right about $300, sometimes less, sometimes a little bit more, all right? And you have to factor in the airport transfer. That means to say from your place in Singapore, you have to travel to the airport, and when you come back, you've got to come back from the airport to your place, and that could be about $30 each way depending on the kind of transportation and the timing of the transportation. It can go down to 20 and also depending on where you stay. Now the other airport transfer is from the Hong Kong International Airport to city itself. So Hong Kong, the transportation, especially if you call for an Uber or you arrange for airport transfer, is actually kind of expensive. So it is right around 300 Hong Kong dollars or so on the average. So that's about 50 odd Sing dollars, right? So if you cover the airport transfer, it's going to cost you a total of $160, right? Maybe I'll just put the math up here so you can tally up for yourself. So we got the cost of ticket and the cost of airport transfer, a total of $500 or so. When it comes to accommodation, all right, again, accommodation, there's a huge spectrum. I would say that you can reasonably stay in a hotel. I stayed at Cordis, which is a 5-star hotel, which is very, very near where M&K Camera is, where SimCity is, right? It's within walking distance, just a couple of minutes walk. So let me show you the easiest way to get to SimCity. This is Langham Palace and Cordis Hotel is right on top. On the other side, so you will see, you cross a short street there, you'll see Don Don Donki here, and you head towards Mong Kok Station. So this is E1 exit of Mong Kok Station. You're not going to go through the underpass to get to the other side. I'll show you another way where you can take the surface route and you will be able to get to SimCity a lot easier without navigating the steps. So we'll head this direction, go towards the road. You won't be able to cross Nathan Road here because Nathan Road is, well, kind of like blocked up right here. It's a very busy street on in Hong Kong, and right in front you will see a pedestrian crossing, right? And you can see the crossing right now. You'll walk past all these bus stops. Alright, so you will cross this street. This is Nathan Road. Very, very busy crossing. Once you get past this, It's just a very short walk towards Sim City. Oh, that's a trifold phone. Wow. Okay. So Shenzhen is here, Xinhua Center. Just keep walking straight. Alright, so the entrance to Sim City is very, very discreet. You're likely to miss it if you're not paying attention, but there it is, Sim City. Right, there's a big billboard, welcome to the supermarket. So of course you're not going to the supermarket, you're going to Sim City itself. Very short escalator here. Nobody wants to climb steps. Alright, so we are in Sim City and this is the first shop you see. I've never gone to this shop before. Let's keep heading up. So you may have some difficulties trying to find M&K camera. So if you are lost, just keep heading up. Head up until you cannot find any more escalators to go up. So this is 3F. 3F is probably the highest floor here. 3F is actually the 4th story, but this follows the British way, so they start from ground floor to first floor to second and third. And there it is, M&K camera. So let's get Frankie to give an introduction of the differences between the 28mm and the 43mm Leica Q3.
Okay, today we have Frankie here from MK Camera. 你慢慢介紹啦。
係啦，咁嗱，我講下呢個 Q43啦。其實個樣同 Q28咧個樣差唔多，係個遮光罩比較特別啲嚇，咁樣框咗落去嘅。咁我哋一般影咧，咁可能佢分咗 aperture 嗰度咧，係啦，可以手動，可以自動，咁你自己去校啦。你話大光圈啲咧，就揀咗咧就可以個人近啲，咁啊影到部機就會靚啲、明顯啲。咁有時如果你話影landscape 啊，普通嗰啲 architecture 啊嗰啲咧，你揀5.6啊、8啊或者11，咁佢會再優化少少。咁一般我哋自動對焦都 OK 㗎啦。咁但係自動對焦咧，你同 manual 對焦咧，中間咧要撳一撳個掣，咁咪咧就過唔到去㗎啦。咁有時以為咧對準咗，其實唔係嘅，爭少少佢要扭埋過去先得。啊，呢個留意啲。好。同埋咧，佢有個 macro 嘅，咁呢個咧就佢會個 scale 都轉埋嘅。咁呢個係比較有型嘅地方，係啦。咁啊對到最近咧0.27碼，係啦，咁好近㗎啦已經。OK。因為我哋計由呢度去到距離，所以其實好近。嗱，咁呢個咧就係一般我哋用 A 得㗎啦，呢個 shutter speed。auto 啦。係啦，auto 已經 OK 㗎啦。除非有啲特別嘅情況，可能有時你要做呢啲 slow motion 啊，即係佢有啲即係影車嗰啲咧，係啦。咁啊有時有少少嗰個影喺度咧，咁可能你校翻慢啲啊，校翻1/60啊，或者1/25啊，睇翻個情況或者你自己嘅需要喜好啊。咁呢個就望翻個 view， 咁又可以校翻個近視眼啊，咁樣去調校翻，即係撳翻佢落去咧就落實咗啦。OK。然後咧就係有個。呢個 mon 咧係可以調整啊上下嘅，但冇左右上下嘅，咁方便有時影下啲矮啲嘅嘢，我哋就唔使咁辛苦趴喺地下啦。係啦，啊或者有時高望落去嘅時候咧就方便啲啦。咁呢度啲其他就唔係好大特別啦。電池呢度咧留意翻，嗱咁啊跌唔到出嚟嘅，一滴咁先出翻嚟。安全係啦，就安全掣嚟嘅。係啦 ，OK。咁呢度就 SD 卡啦。咁如果用 SD 卡咧，用 UHS-2嘅2行接觸點嗰個咧就比較快啲。哦。係啦，咁一般128G 或者係512會比較好啲。256係有時會輕機嘅，Leica嘅機。128最好。128或者係512。512。OK。咁啊，呢個顏色同 Q3嗰個有唔同嘅，呢個少少灰。啊！呢個係呢個 hook 有啲唔同，啊，同埋呢度寫住43，呢啲少少嘅唔同嘅地方啦。好，係啦，咁仲有買 filter 嘅時候要留意，有機會會頂到個 hook 嘅。呢度咧，如果你 macro 嗰時候咧，佢頂出嚟，見到啊？睇到，頂出嚟啊！所以你用 filter 嘅話，你要留意翻，換咗個 hook，換啲其他個 hook，咁你就可以 唔怕頂到啊！一頂壞個鏡就麻煩。
係啦，
係咯，咁啊介紹係咁多。
多謝晒 ，thank you，多謝晒
，thank you，thank
you，thank you。
And I like the hotel because it's in a very central location. It has access to the MTR, which is the subway of Hong Kong. And you can get around a lot of places quite easily. And most importantly of all, because if you're going to be going to SimCity, it is within walking distance. So the accommodation is about $250 a night. So assuming you're going to be staying for 2 nights, fly in 1 day, buy your camera, walk around, or go for a hike on the 2nd day and come back on the 3rd, 2 nights, $250 each night, that is about $500. So in total, so far, we have clocked in just below $1,000. Again, let's call it $1,000 for short, right? Now, the actual camera itself. Now, this is where things get a little bit trickier, right? The camera, M&K is going to quote you 47,000 Hong Kong dollars. That's 8,000 Singapore dollars. Now, when you try to pay using a credit card, M&K is going to say, oh, okay, if you're going to use credit card, I'm going to have to charge you a 3% surcharge. Now, this 3% out of $8,000 is going to work out to $240. Now, again, if you're using a Singapore issued card or any other country issued card, that means not a Hong Kong issued card, you're going to get 3.25% surcharge on the foreign currency exchange, which is charged by your bank, right? So I'm using, for example, a UOB card, right? The Privy Miles card, they will charge a 3.25% on top of the currency conversion rate. So that is going to cost you another $260. So just based on using a credit card alone, $240 plus $260, that's already $500 extra, all right? So your camera, while it would have cost $8,000 if you paid cash, you're now going to pay $8,500, right? So this is where the tricky part comes in. You may not think about it much. 3%, 3.25% doesn't sound like a lot, but it does add up. So what should have been 8,000 is now going to cost you 8,500 because of the additional 3 and 3.25% surcharge. Now, there's a very important factor that a lot of you may not have considered, which is when you come back to Singapore and you're buying something from overseas, right? There is a GST, goods and service charge. This is currently at 9%. So it's not a 9% on 8,500, it's a 9% on the $8,000, the cost of the camera itself, right? Now, you do get a $500 deductible because the first $500 won't attract GST. So you're going to be calculating 9% on $7,500, which is less the $500 deductible. And this works out to 675 Singapore dollars. So you got to add the $675 back into the 8,000, and on top of that, the $500 credit card charges, it works out to $9,175. So you are already a lot higher than what appears on paper to be an $8,000 camera after conversion from Hong Kong dollars. So total 9,175. Now remember the hotel accommodation airport transfer earlier, we worked out to be about $1,000, so that will land you squarely past the $10,000 mark. Now this is for the Leica Q3 43mm, which in Singapore retails for $9,990, right? So you are already going to be paying more. Now there are a few factors that we need to consider. Of course, because the fact that you are traveling and you are using the UOB card on foreign currency, if you are playing the miles game, they do give you back 2.4 miles for every dollar spent overseas. So you're going to get back about 20,000 miles. So it depends on how you value each mile. 20,000 miles to me, it probably gives you about $120. So all in, you're kind of like back to square one, like kind of even out with if you're going to be buying the Q3 43mm in Singapore. Now the thing is that you have to consider if you buy the set from Hong Kong, you're not going to be covered for warranty in Singapore, right? So that is where the difference kind of is. So you have to take into consideration all these. Now, if you are already quite sure that you're going to be getting it, then go ahead, right? You can think of it as you're buying the camera for the asking price in Singapore, but on top of that, you're going to be getting a free trip to Hong Kong, right? Accommodation, airfare, airport transfer, all covered, right? So it's just a matter of whether your 3 days going to be spent there, is it worth it or not. Now, if you have something to do in Hong Kong, like you're going to meet a friend, or if you're going to go for food, or you just love traveling around, or maybe it's the time of the year where Hong Kong is nice and cool and dry and comfortable, then maybe that's something that you want to consider, and that's a benefit on itself. Now, if you're going to be traveling to Hong Kong for work and you have to be there anyway, then you can take away accommodation and you can take away airfare, and that knocks $1,000 off the total price. And if you're going to be using cash, right, so you know that you're going to be buying the camera, then exchange the cash in Singapore itself before you go over. Don't use a credit card. That knocks off another $500 from the cost of the camera. So it does bring down the whole price, even after paying GST. When you land in Singapore on the new camera, it's about $8,675, right? So it is not too bad, and it's already $1,000 over cheaper than if you're going to be buying the camera in Singapore. That is if you don't consider the travel and the accommodation expenses. Now, the other thing that we have to consider is the Q3 28mm. Now, the Q3 28mm in Singapore is selling for $9,600, which is about $400 cheaper than the 43mm. But when you go to Hong Kong, that unit is selling for $40,000 from M&K Camera. So Frankie, whom I've spoken to, if he offers you the camera for $40,000, it translates to $6,800, right? So as compared to the $8,000 of the 43mm, is significantly cheaper, right? It is $1,200 cheaper in Singapore dollars, as opposed to the price difference in Singapore, which is $400. So you're going to be saving a huge difference. Now imagine the camera costing $9,600 in Singapore, and over in Hong Kong, $6,800. A $2,800 difference, which will cover your accommodation, your airfare, your travel expenses, everything all in, right? Now, there's of course other ways to save a bit of money. You could take public transit when you are transiting to and fro the airport, both in Singapore and in Hong Kong. Now, I've done videos of that, and well, I haven't launched those videos, so I'll put some of these videos up on my channel for your reference so that you can refer to them, and I will just help you make the whole trip to Hong Kong a little bit easier. I've also done videos, I have short videos of my whole experience traveling to Shenzhen to buy the camera, claiming the tax refund, and I'll go in very, very deep in detail in these future videos. So make sure that you are subscribed to this channel if you are not already subscribed, and I'll teach you all the ways that you can to help save a little bit of money when you are investing in these expensive cameras from Leica, from Hasselblad, right? Because the price difference is huge enough, right, to justify traveling to buy these cameras. Now, of course, you can also save on accommodation as well, because I'm staying in a 5-star hotel. You don't have to stay in a 5-star hotel. You can actually stay in maybe a 3-star hotel. I wouldn't recommend a 2-star hotel, and you could save, you know, half of the cost, right? I'm talking about $250 a night and above for a 5-star hotel. And if you are willing to put up in a 3-star hotel, you're probably just going to be paying $150 a night, and that will bring down your cost significantly. Again, all these are different considerations that you can have. I would say that is it worth your time to travel to Hong Kong? Yeah, right? Even if you have to put up in a 5-star hotel, even if you are going to be traveling in comfort, it is still worth the trip, because Hong Kong has great places for hiking. There's this place, Cape d'Aguilar. Again, I made a trip recently, and I've also documented the places and how to get to Cape d'Aguilar and the places where you can shoot some really fantastic photos. So I'll share that in an upcoming video. I probably have about 20 videos lined up from this trip when I went to Hong Kong and I went to Shenzhen, and I'm hoping to have you stick around so that I can share them with you in the near future. It will probably take me a couple of weeks, maybe 2 months to clear all these videos at the very least, right? Maybe even 4 months of content. And before you know it, it's going to be end of the year, and I will make another trip, and maybe we'll find another hiking trail where we can then explore a little bit of Hong Kong together. Now, I would say if you want to buy Leica, go to Hong Kong. If you want to buy a Hasselblad, go to Shenzhen. Again, those videos are coming up, so stay tuned, and I'll see you in those videos that I'll be making very soon.